Welcome back into the night shift on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I'm your host, Michael Darcy, joined in studio by my guys, Kyle Collier and Caden Sproul. And before the break, I teased the topic of a Chiefs bye week breakdown because going into the bye week, the Chiefs sit at 5-4. I don't think that anybody truly thought that the Chiefs would be one game above 500 at their bye week. I think if I was to go back and tell Michael 3 months ago that the Chiefs would be, 5-4 and you escape some games, some one-score games with a loss, and you won those games last year, I probably wouldn't believe you. But as of right now, as of November 5th, 2025, the Chiefs are not in the playoffs. If it started tomorrow, which thank goodness it doesn't, the Chiefs wouldn't be in. And so I think we need to have the conversation of if the Chiefs are a better 5-4 team than other 5-4 teams, or if the Chiefs are actually worse than a 5-4 football team. And I want to get your thoughts, and we'll start with Kyle.
I'm going to say they're better. Rashee Rice coming back obviously just unlocked the offense. So I'm not worried about the offensive side of the ball. This defense is still pretty locked down. Let's not kid ourselves. James Cook, tore him up and became the first 100-yard rusher against a Spagnuolo defense in, 3 years, something like that. So it's been a while since we've seen the defense kind of get roughed up like that. And it's not like it was a bloodbath or anything like that either. I'm going to say I still think they are the AFC champs. I think they have the best talent. Now, getting there is going to be tough because looking at the Colts and the Broncos schedule, that one seed in the Buffalo Bills schedule, pretty easy looking, if you ask me. That one seed might not be in play this year for the Chiefs. 5-4 right now. It's going to be an uphill climb, and coming out of the bye, I mean, the Chiefs have a tough stretch, right? I still think the division though could be in play because the Broncos, it's just you never know what you're going to get. They're having this late game magic, right? But it's against teams like the Giants, right? Like
very Chiefs 2024-esque.
Yeah, right.
The Texans without C.J. Stroud.
And the Texans without C.J. Stroud. Like it's very got this paper mache. It feels like a real thin margin for the Broncos, and I feel like I feel like it won't go their way. But maybe I'm just being a hopeful Chiefs fan, right? But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think this team is better. I think they're right now their offense and defense right now they're top 3 in success rate. And, I mean, what more can you ask when you have both sides of the ball performing at that level? Obviously Rashee Rice coming back has accelerated the offensive, production by a ton. I'd like to see them use Xavier Worthy a little bit more. I'm not really sure what plans they have for him right now. Obviously, bringing Rashee back and trying to add him into the fold, it's going to take a little time just because they haven't. I think they've only played like 5 or 6 games total, in 2 years together. So it's going to take a little time for them to gel. But yeah, this defense is very impressive. As you said, Kyle, James Cook is the first 100-yard rusher. I don't know if you guys know the last one.
It was Lamar Jackson.
No, it was
Zamir White
of the Raiders.
As a running back?
The Raiders.
Oh
Lamar has had. I think he's had a couple hundred. But yeah, as a running back was Zamir White on that Christmas Day game a couple years ago. So the run game has been stout as far defensive wise, and I think they could have been a little bit better against. We didn't expect that type of offensive output from the Bills. But yeah, I think they're a lot better than last season for sure.
I think the Chiefs are the most complete team in the AFC.
Yeah,
the Bills' defense is not very good. I think part of the offensive struggles against Buffalo were your offensive line was not healthy. Josh Simmons was obviously not with the team. Jalen Moore probably got a little bit exposed on the left side, and then Juwan Taylor ended up getting hurt, and Wanya Morris came back, and those Western saloon doors things, like he was offering no resistance. You got beat up by Buffalo, but I don't think Chiefs Twitter just seems to be so down in the dumps right now. They're 5-4, and after the bye they get Denver, and then they get Indy, the 1 and 2 seeds in the AFC right now. So it looks a little tough, but I still think the Chiefs are the best team talent-wise in the AFC.
And sitting at 5-4, I mean, the only other 5-4 team in the NFL is the Carolina Panthers. And if those two teams played each other, I think we're all very confident that the Chiefs would
bloodbath,
kick some ass. I think the Chiefs would be the heavy favorite in that game. And honestly, if you just go back and look at the schedule, obviously you would love to have that Eagles game back, that Bills game back.
The Jags game.
I think the Jags game is the game that changed this season. Because if you win that game, you're sitting at 6-4 at your bye week. Or 6-3.
6-3, yeah.
And then everything is different.
You're only a game behind Denver,
That game changed the season. And I think that was truly the game this season that they just gave away. I know that the Chargers, they didn't look good. They didn't look good against Philly. But they gave the game to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And if you had it, you look a lot different. And, Kyle, you mentioned how the division is still in play. And I actually put a poll out on KC Sports Report, the YouTube channel. For those of you that don't know, Kyle, Caden, and I do a weekly show on there. I also do daily Chiefs coverage on YouTube. But I put out a poll and asked you guys, do you think that sitting at 5-4, the Chiefs can still win the AFC West? Over 3,500 of you voted. 49% said yes, 33% said no, and 18% said maybe. I feel like that maybe is probably where I'm lying at right now. If the Chiefs want to win the division, they have to sweep Denver. There's no other way around it.
Yeah.
You've got to beat Denver, especially coming off of your bye. But I do think that if we just look at the Chiefs right now at their bye week, I think they're a better football team than they were last year at their bye week. I think offensively they're better, more explosive. Defensively, they might not have given up this many points per game last year, but I still think that they've got more talent on that defense. And I feel like we've been saying this for a long time now, but once they put it together, this is a championship caliber team.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. The only flaws being you can't really get after the quarterback. And so I do worry about it in the playoffs because good teams are going to have good quarterbacks, and good quarterbacks, if given time, your corners and safeties can only hold out for so long. But yeah, like I've said, they're still the most complete team. And Caden, you brought up the scoring drive percentage versus the Chiefs are top 3 in both scoring drive percentage and then scoring drives allowed. Right? They're a strong unit. They get a little penalized on special teams. That's one of the other flaws. But just looking at their schedule, you've probably got to sweep Denver, and Indy looks like they're going to be a tough challenge. But then you got Houston. Houston looks terrible this year. The Cowboys look terrible this year. The Titans look terrible. The Raiders also look terrible. So you have a good chance to fight back in this division. And like I said, with the Broncos and the Chargers too, who are now down Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, the Chargers I don't think are going to be going anywhere, doing anything special this year.
They just don't have the stamina to get there.
Yeah, clearly, yeah. Did they make any moves at the deadline?
They got
they did get a
Penning
tackle
from the Saints.
That's right. So yeah, I think the Chiefs still have a really good chance. You're only 2 games behind Denver. Yeah, you got to play them twice, but Denver's just such a wishy-washy team. You never know which version of that team's going to show up. So I feel like they can definitely take a hit after a hot start, 7-2. But the Chiefs will fight back.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Michael, that they have to sweep the division the rest of the way. Obviously the game against the Chargers, that's one that we have to get back. We can't, get swept by them. That's one that I think you can check that off as a win. And then obviously, the Denver's leading the division, so we're going to need both of those. But then I just compare this season specifically to the 2021 season. I don't know if you guys remember, we started off 3-4 that year, and we had losses early on to the Ravens and then to the Chargers as well. And how did they turn around? They won 9 of the last 10 and finished 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
The only other loss was to the Bengals. I can't remember if that was at home or in Cincinnati.
Nope.
I think
in
it was in
2021 it was Cincinnati,
and
because
Jamar Chase went absolutely insane. Yeah, so that was the only loss that they had the rest of that season. So I think that the rest of this season will go similar to that. I can only see them maybe dropping one more game the rest of the year. I don't know where that would be, but nobody envisioned us losing to the Jags, coming into the season.
Right.
So you never really know with the NFL. It's any given Sunday, but I can only see them maybe dropping one more the rest of the year.
When Patrick Mahomes has said most recently after their loss to Buffalo that we don't have any more losses to give. Like we it's time to wake up now, because last year when you were 15-2, all right, you lost a game. Who cares? You got the number 1 seed. You ran away with your division. There is no buffer room this year. You are up against the wall, and if the Chiefs do not come out after their bye and look like a different football team, this is where the Chiefs being a 5-4 football team might just be what they are. And I don't think that they are going to finish out being mediocre, but we've given a lot of reasons why the Chiefs got off to this slow start. They didn't have Xavier Worthy after, the first offensive drive of the game. He got knocked out with that injury. Rashee Rice was suspended. Mahomes was working through some stuff with the offensive line.
Josh Simmons left the team.
The team. At a certain point, the excuses are going to go away. We can't just keep finding ways to excuse the performance. We are sitting right now a game above 500. It could be a lot worse, but I'm getting close to the point where I'm out of excuses for this team.
Yeah, and the good thing is that the bye week is kind of coming at the perfect time right now. Josh Simmons has returned to the team facility, or maybe not this week. It's everybody's on vacation, right?
He's been on vacation for the last month.
That's true. But he's returned to the team. Hopefully he comes back and you can just insert him into the left tackle spot, and then you're gonna feel good to go. Juwan Taylor gets a bye week to get over his injuries, and Juwan Taylor, I know that's everybody's whipping boy, right? Because of the penalties. But he's been good this year. The penalties kind of went away for a little bit, then they creeped back up there in Buffalo, and then he I think it was an ankle injury. He had to leave the game. But yeah, the bye week's going to be great because you're going to get Denver. We know how Andy Reid does against the AFC West. And then, like you said, Darcy, this team is finally becoming a complete team. Rashee Rice is in the fold. So
did you know that Travis Kelce leads all tight ends in receiving yards, by the way?
At 36?
At 36.
See, and I've told
Brock
that,
Bowers is coming for that.
I've told people that for so long, though. I think Travis can still be productive at his age, but he can't be the number 1 option, and that's what he was, at least for the first 2 to 3 weeks of this season, and a lot of last season when Xavier Worthy wasn't productive over the first half. So I think that Travis can still be productive. And then Kyle, you talked about Andy Reid versus the AFC West. Not only that, but coming off a bye. I can't remember exactly what his record is off the top of my head, but I know it's a lot more wins than losses. He's extravagant off the bye, and I think he'll have these guys ready to go. And Isaiah Pacheco as well. He'll have time to get healthy as well. That's
with the Chiefs. Andy Reid is 8-3 after the bye.
Yeah.
Overall 32-7.
Do you know what Patrick Mahomes' record against the Denver Broncos is? I can tell you the game that he lost.
Something and 1.
I gave it away. Yeah. That one's on me, folks. He's 13-1 against the Broncos in his career.
Okay.
There was some devil magic involved. He got out of that game last year with the blocked field goal. That counts as a win for him.
Yeah.
But he has been historically great against the Broncos. And, to your point, the Broncos, you don't know what team's going to show up on Sunday. And the Chiefs are in a win-now mode. I know that sounds corny, but the Broncos can afford to lose a game or two. And they're still probably going to make the playoffs. The Chiefs don't have any games to give away anymore. And I think it's go time. And I think the people in that building understand that urgency, because if they don't at this point, it's never going to happen.